In the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the sun barely rises above the horizon and the biting winds howl like lost souls, a creature of majestic power roams the frozen landscape. The polar bear, a symbol of strength and resilience, is often seen as the apex predator of this harsh environment. But today, we delve into a darker tale, one that reveals the fragility of life even in the most formidable of beings. Imagine, if you will, a polar bear lumbering across the ice, its thick white fur glistening under the pale light. Yet, as we draw closer, a horrifying sight emerges, a grotesque wound festering on its side, a gruesome testament to a battle, not with another beast, but with an insidious invader. Barnacles. These seemingly innocuous marine creatures, often associated with the hulls of ships and the rocky shores of coastal regions, have found an unlikely host in this majestic bear. Barnacles, with their hard, calcareous shells, are notorious for their ability to cling tenaciously to surfaces. In the case of our polar bear, they have latched onto its skin, burrowing into the flesh, creating a grotesque tableau of nature's relentless cycle of life and death. The bear's wound is not merely a surface injury. It is a festering mass of infection, a dark and repulsive sight that speaks to the harsh realities of survival in the wild. As we examine this wound more closely, we can see the barnacles, their shells glistening with moisture, each one a tiny fortress of life. They thrive in the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the Arctic, and when they find a suitable host, they waste no time in establishing a colony. The bear, in its quest for food, may have inadvertently rolled in a patch of barnacle-laden ice or come into contact with a submerged rock, allowing these creatures to latch on. Once attached, they begin to feed on the bear's flesh, drawing nutrients from its body, slowly draining its vitality. The bear, once a symbol of power, now bears the weight of this parasitic relationship, a living canvas of suffering. In the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the sun barely kisses the horizon and the biting winds howl like lost souls, a creature of majesty and power roams the frozen landscape. The polar bear, a symbol of strength and resilience, is often seen as the apex predator of this harsh environment. But today, we delve into a darker tale, one that reveals the fragility of life even in the most formidable of beings. Imagine, if you will, a polar bear lumbering across the ice, its thick white fur glistening under the pale light. Yet, as we draw closer, a horrifying sight emerges, a grotesque wound, a festering mass of barnacles clinging to its side, a stark reminder of nature's cruel and unyielding reality. Barnacles, those seemingly innocuous crustaceans, are often associated with the gentle lapping of waves against a boat hull or the rocky shores of coastal regions. But here, on the body of a polar bear, they take on a sinister role. These tiny creatures, with their hard calcareous shells, are not just hitchhikers, they are relentless invaders. They latch onto their host with a tenacity that is both impressive and repulsive, burrowing into the skin and creating a grotesque tableau of nature's darker side. The bear, once a proud symbol of the Arctic, now bears the weight of this infestation, a living canvas of suffering and survival. As we examine this wound more closely, we see the barnacles in various stages of growth, some small and barely noticeable, while others have swollen to alarming sizes, their sharp edges cutting into the bear's flesh. The infection festers beneath, a cocktail of bacteria and decay that threatens the very life of this magnificent creature. The bear's body, designed to withstand the harshest of conditions, now fights a battle against an enemy that, in the heart of the Australian outback, where the sun blazes mercilessly and the air shimmers with heat, a scene unfolds that is both shocking and grotesque. Picture a kangaroo, a symbol of the wild, bounding gracefully across the rugged terrain. But today, this kangaroo is not leaping with its usual vigor. Instead, it is burdened by a horrific wound, a gaping hole in its side, oozing with a thick, dark substance. This is no ordinary injury. It is the result of a bee infestation, a phenomenon that is as fascinating as it is repulsive. As we delve deeper into this unsettling tale, prepare yourself for a journey into the darker side of nature, where beauty and horror intertwine in a dance as old as time. The wound on the kangaroo is a grotesque testament to the power of nature's smallest creatures. Bees, often celebrated for their role in pollination and honey production, can also become agents of destruction. In In this case, a colony of bees has taken up residence within the kangaroo's body, turning it into a living hive. These, driven by instinct and survival, have burrowed into the soft tissue, creating a nest that is both a sanctuary and a prison for the unfortunate marsupial. The sight is enough to make even the most hardened observer recoil in disgust. The flesh around the wound is swollen and inflamed, a vivid red that contrasts sharply with the kangaroo's fur. Flies buzz incessantly, drawn to the scent of decay, while the bees, oblivious to the chaos they have wrought, continue their relentless work. As we explore the biology of this infestation, it becomes clear that the bees are not merely parasites. They are a part of a complex ecosystem. The kangaroo, in its weakened state, becomes a host, providing warmth and shelter for the colony. The bees, in turn, feed on the kangaroo's bodily fluids, creating a grotesque symbiosis that highlights the brutal realities of survival in the wild. This relationship, while horrifying, is not uncommon in nature. Insects often exploit larger animals, using them as vessels for their own reproduction. The kangaroo. In the shadowy depths of the jungle, where the vibrant hues of life clash with the stark realities of survival, a haunting figure emerges, a white tiger, majestic yet marred by a grotesque affliction. This is not just any tiger. It is a creature of beauty, its fur a striking contrast against the dark greens of its habitat. But upon closer inspection, one cannot help but recoil in horror. A horrific barnacle wound festers on its flank, a grotesque testament to nature's cruel indifference. The barnacles, those seemingly innocuous crustaceans, have taken hold of this magnificent beast, transforming it into a living canvas of suffering. Barnacle infestation, while often associated with the ocean's depths, can occur in the most unexpected places. These tiny, hard-shelled creatures latch onto surfaces, feeding on the nutrients they can extract from their host. In this case, the white tiger, a land-dwelling predator, has become an unwilling host to these marine parasites. The barnacles, with their sharp, calcified shells, dig into the tiger's skin, causing excruciating pain and leaving behind a trail of infection. As they multiply, they create a grotesque landscape of white and gray, a stark reminder of the relentless struggle for survival in the animal kingdom. The infestation is not merely a physical ailment. It is a reflection of the delicate balance between species and the often brutal realities of nature. The tiger, once the apex predator, now finds itself in a battle against an enemy it cannot escape.